I think so because of all the circumstances, around the world, and um, we we were on the pause for 3 months, and then you need to get back in shape, and um, you know we risk a lot of injuries, and with this pandemic, you change your every life habits too, so it's a little bit different. But I think so. The good example of this is the ACB league. They just finished yesterday, and they had a bubble. So they finished the season with no positive players, and I'm thinking that if everybody gonna do their part, that I think so the bubble gonna work. So
Next up, Ethan Skolnick.
Hey, Goran.
hey,
Want to ask you about those strange circumstances you talk about. You guys, I know, have been doing the Zoom calls and trying to stay in shape. You've had a bunch of different routines through the years when you've been playing internationally and in European basketball, and had to find different times of the year to get yourself ready. What have you done this time to get yourself in the kind of shape that you want to be in going into this, and so that you can sustain this if you guys are going to be there 2 or 3 months?
I mean, same thing. I already been retired for 3 years from national team, so I kind of get into that groove in off season. How I know how to work now, and it's a little bit different because you don't have the same equipment that you usually have. But just trying to stay my body, to stay strong, do all these exercises that Miami Heat and E4N give us on our Zoom call, and the main thing for me is just consistency. I think so, especially now that you're at home all the time. A lot of players they they uh, they give into those habits that you just sitting watching TV and this, and I told myself I'm not gonna be one of them. So um, I think so. The main thing for me is just habit. That you do your work every day, and that's how you can contain your physical ability and try to be ready for the season.
And just one quick follow. You've got some young guys on this team, a lot of young guys, but you've also got yourself, Andre, Udonis, and Jimmy. How much of a role do you think the four of you can take in kind of leading young guys nobody's been through this before, but especially for them, it's different, leading them through kind of adverse situation here to get this thing on the right track?
I think so. We can help them a lot. But the good thing is that all our young guys, they're hungry. They basically Kanan, Duncan, Tyler. This is the first year of them. They really got a chance, and they demonstrate that they can play. And we feel like that they're gonna be really hungry when we get to that bubble. And the good thing is that we have a really good group of guys, of experienced player and young player, and a great coaching staff. So as long as we're gonna, have the same chemistry that we did at the beginning of the season, we know how to win, and that's the most important thing. We have the ingredients, and we know how to, follow on that pattern to become a good team.
Thanks, Goran.
You know.
Next question, Ira Winderman.
Hey, Goran, how are you?
Hey, Ara, Howard.
I'm good. I guess you can see all us old guys have glasses on now, so now you get to see the other side. Hey, I just wanted to ask you, you spoke about your brother and how there were no positive tests there when he played. The Bundesliga basketball ended there with no positive tests. So let me ask you this. What was it like when you heard that Derek tested positive? And did that raise the angst sort of guys around the training facility, knowing that one of your brothers did test positive?
I mean, well, unfortunately, was not, nobody wants that to happen to anybody. And the thing when we found out, I gave him a call and asked him how he's doing, but I didn't have no concerns because on the end of the day, you can catch it anywhere. So we follow the rules, everything what the NBA said, and we follow those rules. And on the end of the day, it is what it is. But everybody's healthy now, so it's good.
And what's it just like to be tested not only this frequently, but even more frequently when you go to Orlando. I mean, that's not typical. Working out is typical. Playing to win championships is typical. Getting a medical test every day isn't typical. What's that like?
It's different. It's definitely different. You know, it's not a pleasant thing to do. You know, especially when they stick uh, that, I don't know how you call it, in your nose. It's a little bit awkward, but on the end of the day, you get used to it. And like I said before, we're living in this kind of time that we need to adjust. Everybody needs to adjust, and you know, it's one of those things that you have to do. And you know, so far so good. I mean, it is what it is. So.
All right. Old Man Ira says thank you. Thanks, Goran.
You're welcome.
Next up, Cooper Moorhead.
Hey, Goran, good to see you. With so many unknowns going into this bubble, and you don't have things like home court advantage anymore, you know, there's a lot of unfortunate circumstances, but do you think one of the biggest competitive advantages, especially going into the playoffs, is going to be how each team is able to, you know, stay mentally stable day to day? And what are you guys going to be doing just to try and keep yourselves even keel as much as possible?
Yeah, I think so. That's really good question. This is going to be important, you know, to you know, to be how would I say, um, not concerned, and just to be relaxed, and you know, to hang out with people, and not to be only in your room, because I think so that's the problem if you're isolated from everybody else. And you know, one example that I like to take from that is every time when I went to play for my national team, we spent together for 2 months away from our families as a team, you know. And of course it's a different situation because you can go out and you know, you can hang out, but I think so that's going to be really important that we get even closer as a team and hang out and try to, you know, talk to the players, try to communicate, and um, try to stay you know, mentally stable, because in that bubble that we're going to have to do.
Thank you.
Next up, Shannon, PTV.
Hi, Goran.
Hey, hi.
After all that you guys had been through, when you finally got the announcement that the NBA was back, what sort of emotions were you feeling? And how could you describe what was going through your minds?
You know, it was kind of a mixed emotions. At first, I was excited. Then I was a little bit concerned because, you know, I'm leaving my family behind, my 2 kids and my wife, and it, you know, to go away from this kind of long time. It's not the first time in my career, but it's different circumstances with this virus. And but it, you know, at the end of the day, we are professionals. This is our jobs, and you know, I'm excited to be able to play again, and to share the locker room with my teammates, and you know, hopefully we can make a good result. So.
Thank you.
Next up, Brendan Tobin, 790.
Hey, Goran. I wanted to get your thoughts on what the experience of you guys doing the town hall was like, talking about the social issues in the country, and
Yeah.
also on top of the pandemic, there's a lot of worry with that, but I guess some of the guys may be feeling the burden of whether it's appropriate to play or not. And what the conversations have been like with your teammates about that.
I think so. It was great. You know, I think so that everybody needs to speak up on this topic, and I even said it that for me was a little bit different because I'm coming from a different culture and from different circumstances, and at the end of the day, it was tough to speak out because, you know, as a wild male, for sure we got the white privilege, and it's something that it's not good. You know, I feel like doesn't on this world, it shouldn't be about the race, about the religion and everything else. You know, in the end of the day, we are human beings, and that's something that you know, it's good to express your opinion with your teammates and to talk to other people. And you know, especially now that we're gonna be in the bubble, we can use this platform and try to make changes.
Next up, Nick Friedel, ESPN.
Goran, you've been very complimentary of the Heat culture over time. Do you believe that you guys walked into the bubble situation with at least a mental advantage over teams because the atmosphere in Miami is so basketball centric?
I'm sorry to a little break up. I didn't hear you well. Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. You've been very complimentary about the culture in Miami with the Heat. Do you feel like you guys walk to the bubble situation with a mental advantage because the culture down there is basketball centric?
Yeah, I think so. We are because we have a great coaching staff that they prepare us really well as a group, and we always been one of the best conditioning teams. So we really think that we can be one of the best, and we have a lot of players who are mentally strong, and as a team we demonstrate that before the pandemic that we can really play well together, and that in some tough circumstances, we're really mentally strong. Doesn't matter who is on the floor or who is off. We always been connected as a team, and I think so that's going to be one of our advantage in the bubble.
Next up,
Thank you.
Tim Bontemps.
Hey, Goran. You guys obviously had a ton of success at home this year and struggled more away from home. I was just curious. You've had a few months. I'm sure you've watched a bunch of your film. Do you have any sense of why you guys were so up and down depending on where you were playing throughout the year?
I feel like that when we play at home or away, sometimes if we miss a lot of shots, we kind of left our guard down. It's kind of we're thinking too much, and usually when you miss a shot, you don't go back and you don't do your job in defense. And I think so that was one of our main problems at home. Or even some games away where we are making shots. Everything is in a flow, and I think so that was our thing to improve. And I feel like we were getting better towards the end of the season, but in the bubble it's going to be definitely different with no fans, and everybody going to have the same playing field, and it's going to be interesting experience.
I mean, like you said, you've spent a lot of time playing internationally in neutral courts, at least in some respect, but obviously not. You've always had pretty crazy crowds in those situations. Yeah. What is it going to be like playing it not only a neutral site, but one, like you said, with no fans like this? I imagine it's going to be a pretty strange experience, right?
Yeah, and I already had a couple of these kind of games, in Eurobasket, when you play against the team and it's no fans, and you can hear everybody. You can hear coaches, you can hear players talking to each other, and you can hear sneakers. It's a little bit different. It feels like a practicing, but we all know what is at stake. So it's gonna be different, but in the end of the day, we all competitors. We all want to win a championship, so we have our goal set. So that's gonna be it. So
thank you, man.
Thank you.
Next question, Michael Kugno.
Goran, what's going on, man? Now I know you guys aren't going to be alone in Orlando. The MLS is also going to be up there doing a World Cup style tournament. Are you looking forward to, aside from basketball, you'll get to possibly focus in on the MLS, and have you adopted a team for when you head up there?
I mean, I'm gonna watch it on TV. Definitely, I love soccer, and of course, I like the new team that was assembled, Miami Inter. So that's gonna be my team, and it's always nice to watch different sports, and just try to break a little bit from basketball when you do it every day, and try to relax a little bit. So yeah, that's gonna be one of the things that I'm gonna do, and try to challenge Jimmy too. So because I know Jimmy is a huge soccer fan. So
challenge him how?
Try to bet on some teams. On